Hey collectors, you really want to get in the game? Then visit Cloutsnchara.com. All the information you want to know about in the game and every other hockey product on the market.
Hey everyone, it's Brad here from Cloutsnchara.com. I'm here with Dr. Brian Price of In the Game, and we're just here to conduct a quick little interview. So, we'll start off by asking you, who is your favorite hockey player?
I'm not so sure any interviews with me are going to be quick. Very long-winded. My favorite hockey player, Frank Mahovlich.
Frank Mahovlich?
And it dates myself to the fact that in the late 50s, I was not able to afford to see Leaf games. So back then, on Sunday afternoons at Maple Leaf Gardens, the Toronto Marlboros and the Toronto St. Michael's Majors played doubleheaders. So you go down there at about 12 o'clock and see the Marlies game first or the St. Michael's game first, and then there'd be a brief intermission and you were allowed to stay and you see the second game. And so during that time, Mahovlich played for St. Mike's. He was a phenomenal junior and a phenomenal pro, and so really he was the first hockey player that I related to. And he had a pretty good career.
That he did. And are there any new faces to the In the Game lineup, young or old, we can look forward to seeing this year?
Always new faces. We're pretty pleased that we signed Victor Hedman, and it's going to be kind of interesting now to see exactly who gets drafted first. We've had a relationship with John Tavares for a number of years now, and what we're hearing is they're going back and forth every day between who's going to be number one, who's going to be number two.
Essentially, it's going to come down to which team needs a defense or forward.
Well, it also may come down to the fact that you may see John moving teams sometime during the season, and if John starts to get on a team that has players who can produce with him, I think you'll see him really light it up, and so that offensive prowess could change opinions. But right now they're running 1 and 2, so we didn't want to take any chances. So we did a deal with Victor, and so he's one of our new faces, fresh young faces. In retired players and in active players, we've just signed a deal with Rob Blake, and he was like a write-in. I never realized how popular Rob Blake was. And so we got a lot of emails, and we said, you know what, let's give it a go. We contacted his agents, and they said that was cool. Our big challenge right now is getting a San Jose Sharks jersey, because they're one of the teams that sell their jerseys, and they're very difficult to get. They usually do them at fan appreciation nights. And so we're working with Rob and with the equipment people to see if we can get one. And it will make great new cards with the San Jose logos on them, but also make great ones to do Journey, because we already have a Colorado and we already have an LA Kings. So Rob is going to be new for us, and there'll be a few. We're looking at a couple surprises towards the next couple months as to some players that we've never worked with before.
It's very intriguing. And here we have our first question from one of our members. The screen name is Porthos. Sorry if I messed that up. But he says, with all the fraud going on jersey and patch cards, people changing color patches out for 4 color patches and so on, has In the Game ever thought about keeping pictures or kind of a compilation file to see which card matches up with which serial number to prevent this sort of fraud?
You know, it's a major project because, as an example, on Heroes and Prospects, which we're just in production right now, there are 13, 14,000 memorabilia cards. So the question really becomes, how do you do that? How do you number one, shoot them all, and then how do you catalog them all? And then when the odd time comes that you really need to do that, how do you find out you're going to go through? I guess you would get an image of the card that's suspect, and then you go through the whole thing. I guess it's possible. If someone could show me a method of doing it that really wouldn't take as much time as I perceive it would take, we would take a look at it. We're not that accustomed to hearing these problems. Are they out there?
Oh yes, they're really rampant, especially with the higher end sets, because if people are dumping a whole lot of money onto a product, and then they get to this point if they pull a color patch and they try to get money back off of it, generally they will.
So what you're saying is they'll open the card and they'll substitute whatever from wherever.
Yeah, just like a store-bought.
You know, I have to tell you that knowing how we produce the cards and how we laminate the cards, you have to be extremely skilled to be able to do that. they applied their skill in something else, they would probably make more money than putting out fraudulent cards. I mean, you really have to be skilled to let alone take the card apart, but to put it back together again so you can't see. Now, maybe we haven't heard too much about it because of the way we make our memorabilia cards. I mean, some of the older cards where we have them in customer service and the customer service period has lapsed, like a Terry Sawchuk Detroit or a Terry Sawchuk Los Angeles King Shoes, it comes to mind. We've had to open those cards to get those pieces to put them in new cards. We obliterate those cards. So I'm really stunned to hear that people can do that in such a way that the final card, the fraudulent card, is in good shape. So maybe it's not happening with our stuff as much as with other manufacturers, because maybe the glue on ours holds the different layers together.
Well, the one thing I've always noticed in the game swatches always are the most appealing, so I don't think
well, yeah, but we can't, and thanks for that, but you know, we can't get 100%, you know, dual color, so we do have some single ones. I don't know, I'd like you to do a little more research and see if someone can do ours. Because like I say, when we need to get that memorabilia back for future projects, we can't do it. So that's kind of interesting. But certainly it would be a horrible thing that a collector who wants a double or triple color emblem gets one and it's not real. I mean, I have the whole debate about using photo shoot, not real jerseys in the first place. But if that's what you're getting and you know you're getting it and you're happy with that, God bless you. But if you think you're getting a game worn and it's someone substituted that. Now I guess on some of our high-end products you can't do that because our Ultimate's slabbed. And our other high-end product, Superlative, is in a holder to take it out and damage it. But I would imagine that people who are so good at swapping out emblems can figure out anything.
And it's good that you touched on the vintage memorabilia because that runs into the next question. It's from Carmichael PT, and he wants to know, with all the vintage memorabilia that you carry, who are the players that will have their stuff run out first? With guys like Georges Vezina, Maurice Richard, Cloutsnchara, among others, is there anyone that you see really having a limited amount of memorabilia left to use in cards?
Everyone you mentioned, plus. We're always buying. Prices have gone up dramatically. Now maybe with the new economy that we're all now living in, perhaps there'll be some collectors out there that will have to dispose of some of their vintage memorabilia. We always get ragged on because of the smaller sizes pieces on the vintage memorabilia, and it's just a necessary evil. The jerseys that have the smallest pieces cost the most amount of money, and we want to use them as long as we possibly can. But a lot of those guys will run out, and some of them will be irreplaceable. The day is going to come. We're not there yet, but you know, there's some of the skates that we have that, you know, we've used the blade, we've used most of the boot, and I just don't know. In some of the skates, real vintage skates I bought maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I haven't seen replacements since.
Are there any players specifically that you're really limited on currently?
You know, I really wouldn't know that. I sort of get from the production department, I get sort of an email saying running on fumes on so-and-so, and that's when I really have to put the pedal to the metal to try and find it.